Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're going to be proceeding again with our card. And, like I promised previously, I had said we have got several ways of tackling or designing this component number 4 that we started with. And, firstly, I showed you how to draw this thing by getting the two-dimensional shape that we see from this front view and extruding it to get the 3D component. Now, I am going to be showing you another way of designing this thing. Alright, so what am I going to do here? I am going to, first of all, make this 3D rectangular block. In other words, I'm going to assume that this is a complete thing, or to make the complete rectangle first, and then I'll start to remove these sections, remove the middle section, and remove that triangular section right there to come up with this component. I hope it is making a lot of sense, but it's going to become clearer as we do this thing. So let me make a new component right here. So I'm going to be saying this is practice 1B. And checking the default template, you don't know how to set up or to initialize your card. So it's modeled by Creo. You can put all those things right there. Okay, directed to a familiar window that we now know by now. Yep. So I'm going to be drawing from the front. I like to draw from the front plane. There's no problem, you can draw from the top or the right plane. Still not a problem. So I'm going to draw from the front, and first of all I'm going to be sketching the rectangle. So let me use this option. You can draw the rectangle using some lines, but I'm going to be utilizing this handy tool to draw the rectangle. So I'm going to be selecting that and drawing this rectangle in this manner. Yes, I'm still in the rectangle option, so I can get out of the rectangle option by clicking this part or by clicking the mouse. I'm going to be clicking the mouse, which is readily available or readily accessed by me. Okay, then these are the dimensions that have been allocated by the software: 394 and 338. Now I am going, and also we have got these dimensions showing you how this rectangle is related to the central axis right there. I'm going to be modifying them in that manner. Okay, so I'm going to be bordering everything, selecting, highlighting everything in red, and I'm going to be modifying these values. So what are the dimensions of my rectangle? My rectangle is actually 45 millimeters vertical and 60 millimeters horizontal. That's exactly what I'm going to be putting. I'm checking regenerate and starting with the first dimension right there. So this is the first dimension that has been selected in blue right there, and it is 45. Then I go to the second part, which is 60. Enter. Come to this part, which is definitely 22.5. I come to this part, which is 60 divided by 2, which is 30. So that's your rectangle. You can click regenerate and click OK. Central axis, they remain at the center. I think I've dimensioned it or modified it properly. So what do I need to do? I need to get a 3D component of this rectangular view that I have to get a rectangular block. So I'll click done to get the 3D modeling, which is the extrude option that I'm going to be using again. Extrude. So this is how this component is extruding. So I'm going to be clicking in part of this and rotating with the wheel of the mouse to see how it is extruding. So you can see it is extruding on one side of the plane, the front plane, I want it to be symmetric so that the central or the principal plane will remain at the center of this component. So I can choose this part. The second option, which is extruding on both sides of the plane, of the central plane, of the sketching plane, basically. And I want to extrude this to a distance of 60, as you still remember. So that's your component right there. Let me zoom in. See, that's the component. I think I'm happy. And I'll click OK. And then I'll click OK. So first of all, I have made this rectangular block. So I need to cut out some features of this rectangular block to get the component that is really required here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be sketching the features that I'm going to be cutting out from this side. So I'm going to be clicking this side of the rectangle. Once selected in pink, I can select the sketching mode or the sketching tool. I'll be directed again to a two-dimensional view of that. Then I'll click sketch again. So first of all, I want to make this rectangular cutout, which is central here, which is 10 by 10, a rectangular component, and then I'll cut it to a distance of 60. So let me sketch this. So I'm using the reference side of this rectangle, the upper edge of this rectangle. I want to reuse it. So I'm going to sketch in my file menu. I'll select sketch and references. So references, I'm going to be using this as a reference line. So once selected, I highlighted in as broken, show that it has been selected. These ones are already selected. Okay, so I can click OK and close. I'm going to sketch a rectangle using this line. So let me make a rectangle, 10 by 10. So once selected, L and L shows that it's actually a square. I'll get out of the rectangle tool, clicking the mouse, and then I'll start to dimension. So I want this side to be. You can also dimension a component by double clicking the part. Though at first, when you start to make this thing from scratch, like what we did previously in creating of the rectangle, this outer rectangle, we had to select everything and then we had to use this modifying tool right there. Once you have got that, you can, the other features that you'll be dimensioning, you can double click the dimension itself to put the value, because they'll be drawn in proportion to what you have previously drawn. So I can double click this part and then I can select this side as 10. Definitely this part is going to be 5 since I want this rectangle to be in the middle there. That's my rectangle, which is 10 by 10 that I want to cut out. So I'll click done once I'm happy with that, and I will extrude. So that's extrusion. So by rotating this thing to see how this thing is extruding, you can see that it is adding material by default. It is actually adding material in that manner, which I don't really want. So the first thing is that I don't want to add material. I want to make what I call an extrusion, an extrusion by cutting, by removing material, basically. So this is the option that I'm going to be selecting. So the color is going to change, showing that you're not adding material, but in this case you are removing material. That's the first thing. Now second thing is that the direction has to be changed. You can change the direction by clicking this arrow here, or you can change the direction by clicking this option here. You can select any of that. So I want to change this by the arrow right there. Okay, and it is actually in the correct way. I'm now removing material in the correct direction to a distance of what now? What is the distance? So I can put a distance of 60. Just to make sure that this is cut right through, I'm going to put 61, no problem. And you can visualize to see what is happening. Yes, I think I've made a rectangular cutout right there. I think I'm happy. I'll click done. So that's it. Now we need to cut out the two triangular sections right here. Yeah, those edges of the rectangle. So I'm going to be selecting this side again for sketching. Once selected in pink, I'll get back to the sketching tool. So I'm going to be drawing a triangle here, 15 by 15. And then I'll dimension it properly and cut it out, like the way I've done in the rectangle, in the central rectangle that I've made a cutout. Okay, so I need to use this side as a reference axis and also this side as a reference axis. So I'm going to sketching and references. I'll select this side as a reference axis and also this side as a reference axis. What are the reference axes? It shows the size of the previously drawn component that I want to act as a reference in drawing another feature in my component. In this case, the triangular feature. So I'll click OK and done once done. So I don't have a triangular option here. I'm going to be designing the triangle using some line options. So trying that one. So I'm just going to be making this line sketching. So I want to make this is a 15 by 15 triangle. So once selected L and L, it shows that I can click this point and close this thing. So I'm done. I can get out of this command. So what is this distance basically? This distance is 15. This distance is 15, and as indicated, this L1 by L1 shows that they are equal. So once you dimension one of this side, it also shows that this will also be equal to 15. But if you haven't constrained in your designing, constrain these two sides to L1, L1, that means you have to be defining 15 and 15 here. No problem. We can still do that. So the triangle is done. I'll click OK to cut it out. And I'm going to be cutting it out by an extrusion option. So I'm going to be rotating this component again using the wheel of the mouse to see how it is extruding. It is adding material in the wrong direction. So first of all, I need to remove material and correct the direction again. This time to 61 again. Click here. Yes, it is cutting right through, as you can see. So I'm happy with this extrusion. Now we have to do the same thing using this edge, but I'm not going to be repeating the process because there are some shortcuts that we use here in designing, some transformation options that we can have. So how can I make this some feature here? That means I can mirror this extrusion by removing material that I've done on this edge. I can mirror it about this right plane or this central plane. It will be definitely executed on the other side of the rectangular block. So it is still highlighted as extrusion number 3. That is the last extrusion by removing material of the triangular component or the triangular feature in my component that I've made. I'm going to use another option, which is the mirror option. So here I've got a mirror option. I'm going to be selecting the mirror option, and in the command window it is saying that select the plane or the datum plane to mirror about. So the mirror plane definitely will be this one, right plane. So once that is done, I'll click OK. Boom, we get our feature again, triangular feature that has been cut on the other side. Now this is my component that I've previously drawn, and I'm happy with that. You find which method does you well. Definitely you can see that the second method has got less dimensioning as compared to the first one. You're just making a reference component, and then you start to add and remove features or remove materials from that component. So you just choose which one method you'd want to use, but I urge you to know both because they're going to be very important in our formulation in our CAD. So try both methods and make sure that you understand them. Okay, so let me see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.